Well, appreciate you guys being here. Disappointing to lose, especially senior night for Mo and Derek. But Derek gave a courageous effort. I didn't think he was going to play until 6:15. Dr. Baker came and said, I think he can play. And Dr. Baker's a pretty conservative doctor and a terrific doctor. And he said, I'll go talk to him, and I thought about going with him, but I don't want Derek to think I was pressuring him to play. I walked through today, Derek didn't think he could go, but doctor said there was no swelling, there was no, a light sprain, and that once he started playing, it'd probably feel good and it would loosen up. And so, the suggestion was once he starts playing, don't take him out. And so it's kind of ironic. He wasn't going to play, and then he plays 40 minutes. Yeah. So, I'm proud of both those guys. It's neat to see young men, come in and grow and mature, and hopefully my staff and I had a little something to do with it, and that's why I like coaching college basketball. You see these kids come in, and I only had these guys for 2 years. I wish Derek was a sophomore, Mo was a sophomore. This is my first group that has graduated. Will graduate. And granted, only 2 years. Pop, I consider Pop's class really my first class because I recruited Pop before I recruited Derek and Mo. So it has a little bit more feeling, emotion, because these are the guys that I helped bring in. In terms of the game, first of all, Marshall's really good. Giving him a lot of credit. With that, our defense was terrible. Our pick and roll defense was bad, and part of the reason our defense was bad was we turned the ball over. 16 turnovers, and I wouldn't consider Marshall a pressing team. They picked up full court, I think, to try to test Derek's ankle. Pop had 5 turnovers in the first half, and I think that really hurt us. But then just in the defense, pick and roll defense wasn't good, and we fouled them too many times, and we didn't get fouled enough. And so they scored 21 points off the foul line. We only scored 6, and I think that's a credit to their quickness. And they've got good guys, good players at each position. Wilkerson's really good. Everyone talks about Whiteside, but Wilkerson, he's got a chance to play in the NBA too, I think.
Starting the game, Mohamed Faye had 10 points, 13 minutes, and then he finished with 10 points in 35 minutes. What changed in that?
That's a good question. That's probably my fault. Probably didn't go to him enough in the second half. We try to post him up a lot, especially when we had the big lineup in there, where he was the 3-man and Justin was the 2-man. We felt like we could get Whiteside away from the basket and post him up, and we did that. And in the second half, I think when we posted Mo up early, they kind of dropped back Whiteside, and we're going to give up the jumper for Pop, and that probably scared me off that a little bit more.
How much was Derek affected, do you think, and by extension the team?
Oh, it's hard to say. It's a good question, and it's one I've already thought about. There's always like sometimes when your best player doesn't play, or one of your best players doesn't play, the other guys pick it up, but then he comes out and plays. So you wonder, okay, is it going to be the Willis Reed effect? Yeah. Or is it going to just all of a sudden, guys who were real fired up to overcome the void, maybe they, kind of settle down a little bit. I don't know. It's interesting. But I felt like, Derek was out there. I don't think he was himself, but he didn't hurt us. If he was hurting us, I would have taken him out. I didn't feel like he was hurting us, and I thought that, he's 1 for 7 from the 3-point line. I think some of those were bad shots. It didn't look like, I didn't think he was 100%, but I didn't think he was 50% either.
Can you just talk about Derek while he's been here? I mean, how much have you seen him grow in the time that you've had him?
It's really been incredible. He came in as a junior college player who had only played organized basketball really 2 years. and so everything was new to him. And here, you know, I used to joke with him. I said, Derek, you made a mistake coming to play for a New Yorker. You know, you should have went and played for somebody, you know, somewhere else, because I know, you know, all your, you know, I know all your stuff. I know all your con, you know, the New York con. So you can't pull that over on me, you know. And we'd laugh about it. And, you know, what the coach from Pittsburgh Steelers would always say, iron sharpens iron, you know. And you know, I would meet him head on and challenge him, and he didn't always like it, but he really grew from it. You know, from running sprints to talking on, you know, leadership to, you know, working on his jump shot, his foul shot. It's hard to change, but he you know, eventually embraced it, and I think grew as a player and hopefully as a person. And the same thing with Mo. I mean, Mo's first year, I probably threw him out of practice once a week, you know, and now Mo is one of the, you know, hardest workers in practice, most vocal, and he's a guy that I put to the bench. And you know, tonight he didn't want to start tonight because he didn't want to screw up the rotation. And when, you know, I was committed to the lineup, I said, I'm going to start you, Mo, and you know, I'm glad I did. I just, you know, wish we won. But they both have grown a lot, and I'll be real happy when I see them walk and get their degree in May.
A week ago, you looked like you had an opportunity to go into the conference tournament with a lot of momentum, a lot of full head of steam. Now, what do you do? How do you?
Yeah, that's a good question, and that's something I addressed in the locker room after the game. I said, you know, it's disappointing. In the Tulsa game, you know, you want to win that game, but you definitely want to win your home game. And I thought we played decent at Tulsa, and tonight I didn't think we played great. And so we've got to get that feeling back. And kids bounce back quicker than coaches, I think. You know, we already started talking about UCF, and the challenge is that they're a good team, and we've beaten them before, and they're going to be fired up to play us again, and we got to be equally fired up to play them and try to get our first Conference USA tournament win.
Just the preview, you handled UCF pretty well the time you played them. Does that have any factor on this game?
Yeah, I think it does. I think, you know, Kirk's a good coach, and, you know, they'll make adjustments, and, you know, usually the team that loses makes more adjustments than the team that wins. You know, and I got to anticipate, okay, what adjustments do I think he'll make? You know, it's a chess match, and yet not try to confuse my team. And I felt like early in the game tonight, I probably maybe confused my team a little bit too much with our zone defense. And once it broke down, we decided just to go to man-to-man.
Coach, what do you feel has been the most important thing, perhaps, that you've learned here as your fourth year at SMU?
I think that, you know, I've said this to people, you know, when you get into it, I think you got to learn the league, you got to learn the university, you've got to figure out what type of student athlete fits at SMU and in the league, and have a style of play that takes advantage of that. And I felt like this is the first year that I have a style of play, offensively and defensively, that fits our university and fits the league. You know, we're not going to, you know, I think it's foolish for us to try to, you know, be like Memphis or UTEP. You know, we're probably not, you know, going to out Memphis or out UTEP. Let's do what we do. You know, what does Georgetown do in the Big East? What does Vanderbilt do in the SEC that makes them so successful? Kevin Stallings is a good friend of mine, and we talk basketball all the time. And, you know, we feel now that we have a style of play and can recruit to it. When I first got here, I had 7 scholarships. I just wanted 7 players, but I didn't know, you know, how I was going to play with them. I didn't know what the league looked like. You know, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, I want a 4-man that could face up